All good? Good. I thought you guys said it was hot down here. Huh? You said it was hot down here. I just spilled some water on myself. Okay, who's up?
How does the offensive line look in terms of pulling and getting out in space and blocking moving targets?
They're doing a good job. We've done, if I'm being really honest, a limited amount of it right now just because we're not in pads yet. So trying to avoid some of those collisions till day 3 when we're in pads. But they did it all summer. They're doing it all spring, and I think it's a weapon for us.
Sticking with the offensive line, obviously the three big guys all over the front, but Parker's been such a steady force since he came here.
Yeah.
You've obviously worked with him for a number of years. Just what kind of a pro is he each and every day in practice?
Oh, well, you said it. I think he's one of the guys on this team that he gets it. He knows the preparation and the type of demeanor he's got to have every day, and he's super consistent. And I know everybody on the team knows they can count on Parker. Just demeanor, mindset, practice habits, physicality. He's ready to go every day.
Is it nice to have some scholarship tight ends out there?
Yeah, it's just tight ends, period. Like, I don't know if I'd have been that picky, but, yeah, it's great. Seeing those guys run around. Josh has been out there running around. He looks awesome. Danny Lewis has got some reps. Even Caleb getting a few more reps. So, yeah, it's been awesome. Good competition in that room right now.
What are the biggest differences you see in Jeremy's game approach, demeanor, compared to when he's at Washington with you?
Yeah, just probably confidence is one of the big things. Jerm was a young player learning from some really good veteran receivers there with the Dunze and McMillan and Polk, and so Jerm's the kind of guy that's very respectful, is a good gatherer of information, understands how to be a pro, and has worked himself into a really big leadership role on this team.
How big is that leadership for some of those younger wide receivers? Obviously, you kind of mature in that.
Yeah, all those guys. I think Isaiah has done a good job. Ryan, certainly for a young player, growing into that mold for sure. But I think Jerm just the demeanor you got to have, especially during camp and things like that when there's a lot of running, and get yourself used to football shape fast and just being able to tough through stuff. Jerm really can help mentor some of the young guys and even take on bigger, longer installs, things like that, and not let it bog you down.
What have you seen from Jaylen Hale in that position coming back from his injury?
Jalen's amazing. He's one of my favorite stories. I mean, what he's been able to come back and do already, and even from spring to now, the difference physically, how he looks, it's just, I mean, honestly, it's probably one of the more inspirational things that's happened on this football team.
What have you seen from the running back room, guys like Jam, Richard?
They all have different skill sets. Jam, again, another one of our leaders on the football team. Jam's super smart player, good hands out of the backfield, really physical. He's running pretty strong at 220 right now with good top-end speed. Daniel's your bigger back downhill. Him and Rich are that kind of guy. And then Dre Washington's a guy that's really showing up the first 2 days that I've been really impressed with his vision.
What's the biggest thing you're wanting to see from the running backs this camp?
Man, good question. I think, the big thing, I think all of them have their own style of running that they're pretty darn good at. But I think the pass protection, the consistency in understanding their rules and things like that, I think everybody's playing catch up to Jam, so making sure all those guys come along and get there. And Coach G does a phenomenal job, getting those running backs ready for that.
What have you seen out of Rico, Scott?
Rico, young player, his body transformation from now, even from this winter when I got here to now, he's become, I think he was one of the guys that hit the top speed this summer. So one of our fastest guys on the team, super physical player, willing to run through people. And then the level of detail he has in his route running for a young player and the versatility he can play inside and outside, he's going to be a presence this year.
How hard is it going to be to kind of narrow down that rotation?
It always is. You want to have a deep, talented room, and we certainly have that at Alabama. So, for us, it's just going to be who are the guys that are able to, consistently do the same thing every day, make the play, make the tough catches, block. It's a prerequisite to be able to block to play wide receiver here.
What are the differences you've seen between the different quarterbacks?
Ooh, how long do we have? No, I'm kidding. All of these guys, I think they're in different levels of their progression as quarterbacks in college. And I think that all of them, just like any position, have a lot of different strengths. I think that right now Ty is continuing to show a ton of command. I thought he did a better job today than the other two guys with that. So he continues to progress as a leader, and Keelan's ability to see the field and just his vision, his innate ability to make a play, even potentially when there's not one there, is a really, really high level. And then Austin just has elite arm talent, a big guy that's strong and can power through things.
What's your biggest message to that room?
Quarterback room, consistency, take care of the ball. You got to be a guy that can move us forward. I think, one of the biggest things that we're stressing right now is minimizing negative yardage plays. Starts with us, making sure we got the right mic points on protection or run scheme. So make sure the ball is moving forward and the O-line's on the same page, and then, making great decisions with the football.
How does Ty Simpson go from the guy who, if he had to start a game tomorrow, would be the guy to being the guy who's just period the starting quarterback?
He's got to do it every day between now and Florida State. When we start that preparation, and just whoever that person is has got to come out and be able to show that it's clearly him. And that's what this football team needs. And all three of those guys know that. And so I think being able to show up and do that every day and not waver in and out of the type of player he is, the type of decision maker he is, the inconsistencies that a young quarterback would show, or a quarterback that's not ready to start. So as long as Ty can do that, or one of the other guys, that's going to be the player that's going to start a quarterback.
For you personally, to experience the pro game for a year, how much did you feel like you grew getting to spend that time in Seattle?
Oh, a ton. I think any league, right? Like you move from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, Pac-12 to SEC, SEC to the NFL. I think there's different type of coordinator families, different type of coverage structures and things like that people run through conferences and areas of football. So I think, from that standpoint, you're just getting used to attacking different types of defenses.
Coach, can you speak to the development of a young player like a Larson Brooks or Marshall Pritchard, and can you just talk about how important this time is, getting into new installs, spring, summer, fall camp, and
Yeah.
things of that nature and stuff like that?
Yeah, the reps are vitally important. I think that's one of our things that we put a lot of time into as a coaching staff. Our position coaches do a phenomenal job. As a full staff, we do a big time, effort as far as trying to find ways to make sure all these football fields are out here getting used and guys are getting reps. And, you can learn in the room, you can watch the film, understand all that, but you got to take reps. And that's the only way you can learn and truly grasp the offense. So walkthroughs, reps on the field, and just intentional coaching all the time is really, really important.
What about a guy like Caleb Edwards who just got here? How have you seen him?
So Caleb, I think a big thing for him, a guy that's not a mid-year guy, he has to have a good summer. And he certainly did. And so I think that's one of the benefits that we have, is that the amount of interaction that we're able to have with our guys in June, and just understanding that amount of time is limited but valuable. And then throughout the summer, just staying in the playbook and understanding and studying and being ready, because basically you just got to be able to speak the language when he gets here, in fall camp. And if he can speak the language, he's got a chance to be able to execute. And Caleb's a bright kid that's been able to pick it up really fast.
He's adapted well to
Great. He's been awesome. And, we'll find out how awesome on Sunday when he has to smack somebody with pads on, but I'm excited for him.
In an ideal world, when would you like to have a starter figured out a quarterback?
Yesterday, if I'm being honest. But you got to let it run its course. It's not there yet, and we've been through this before more than once, and you just got to let it run its course. We got a pretty detailed plan on how we'll figure those things out, and the information that we share with the guys every day, and when it's the right time, we'll be ready to pull the trigger.
Coach, with kickoff being 30 days exactly from today, has there been a sense of urgency from any of the guys, anybody in the locker room speaking up, anybody on the coaching staff? Can you speak to that if possible?
I'll be honest, it's one of the things that impressed me since I got here. I feel like the sense of urgency probably was sparked a little bit as a result of last year's record and things like that, but I've felt like the sense of urgency since I've got here has been really, really high. And the right players are speaking up, saying the right things to try to, not just talk about it, but enact some of those things and try to follow through with it.
What kind of progress have you seen from the left guards, and what are you wanting to see from them?
Yeah, Dewberry and Gino have been battling it out over there primarily, and both those guys. Cam has done a really good job of being mobile and physical at the point of attack. Gino is a super savvy player, can play all over the place, can snap a ball, play center, play guard, and I think the physicality piece is going to be a big part. Playing next to KP obviously, takes a little heat off of them just as far as, where they're at, but also you can look at it in terms of it might put some pressure on them too, because that's the side of the ball where we're going to want to be able to be aggressive and go after people.
What have you seen from Wil Forby, and is he taking command at right tackle, or is that pretty wide open there?
Well, I think right now he has. I think he's done a good job. I thought he had a good spring and played through some injuries and is getting healthy now. And I think he's done a good job. He's a smart player. He's learned how to play with the strength that he's acquired. I think he's a much more physical player than he was last year. I think he did, ton of work with Coach Ballou as far as changing his body type.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, everybody.